Hello? I'd like to order french fries, a burger, and a milkshake. This is a library. I'd like to order french fries, a burger, and a milkshake.
Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. I'm going to use the computer interface this time for my round 1 game in the New York State Open. I played over the weekend. This is round 1 from Saturday. Between Mr. Bryant as white and I'm black. It's an interesting game. Let's get to it. Round 1's always tough. You think about, how you're going to play. And I was really busy trying to get ready in my business. I have a convenience store. And I usually don't get much time off, so I got to do a lot of extra work to catch up. And it took me about 3.5 hours to drive up there. I live in upstate New York, but this is way up in the Adirondacks. Beautiful country, too. Beautiful. At the end of this video, you'll see a video. Not very well edited, I'm afraid, but video from Lake George. It's a great place. If you ever get a chance to visit it, it's well worth it. Anyway, I did my usual Scandinavian D5. He went E5. Now, on this one I wasn't figuring out what to do. And the funny part is the top 3 choices on the computer, none of them are what I did. I probably should have went D4 like I normally do, but I decided to go E6. And of course this transposes into a French, which I know absolutely zero about. Knight to F3, Knight C6, Bishop B5, Bishop D7, he goes D4. Now this is something that I missed. I missed completely. I could have played Knight takes pawn. And if he even played Knight takes Knight, I get his bishop. If Bishop takes, this Knight comes back. Missed that. It's game 60, and I didn't want to spend a lot of time in the opening. Just make solid moves and use my time in the middle and endgame. So move Knight to G to E7, C6. Right now, believe it or not, according to the computer, which I have off screen, I'm over a point ahead in score. So, and then I went H6, and the computer really slammed me. It said, with this move, black loses his initiative. I'm like, oh man, come on, that's brutal. Instead, I should have taken Knight takes. After Bishop takes, Knight takes, Queen B3. I would have been up a pawn. Oh well. And then he makes Bishop to E3. And it says white is ruining his position. So, obviously, like I said in my other video with this, the computer must have been turned up on cranky today. Queen to E2 was the computer's choice, and Knight to F5. After Bishop to E3, Knight to F5. Now, that Knight's in a really good spot. Again, I said I should have taken, instead of Knight to E5, then after Knight takes, Bishop takes, A4, and that would have been pretty good shape. This one really surprised me as well. He wanted to save his bishop, obviously, but he put him on F4, which is not a very good spot for him. I kicked a light squared bishop. Again, I should have taken the pawn, and after Bishop takes, Knight takes. I mean, that sat there for so long. Oh well, live and learn, right? Bishop to E2 he played. Now, I played G5 here, and I thought about this a little bit longer than I should have. But the computer also says that's the best move as well, so I feel really good about that. G5. And he played Bishop back to C1, which was the computer move. I've got a slight advantage, half a pawn. Bishop to G7. It took away some of my advantage. It said I should have gone G4, and I probably should have, and I thought about it and didn't do it. Bishop G7. I didn't want to get too ambitious, Sometimes they can backfire on you. If I had gone G4, though, after Knight moves H5, Knight to B3, and I sit pretty well, be honest with you. After bishop g7, white castles. It says if he had gone g4 instead, after I moved my knight, knight takes, pawn takes. It's a slight advantage for white. After white castles, I went f6. And I know they make these squares right down through here on my king weak. I saw that, of course. And he went h3. It says go to g4, which probably is better. And after I moved my knight, e takes, bishop takes, rook e1. But basically an even game. After h3, though, I played pawn takes. And he went bishop d3. Which, of course, is disastrous. I don't have a clue what he was thinking. If he had taken, I'd have castled c4, d takes, bishop takes. But a small advantage for me, a little bit over a pawn. But after bishop d3, of course, I go e4. He moves the bishop off. I take the knight and takes the bishop. Now I castle. And even with, why did I move the queen and castle on the other side? Because there's no way I can stop his check here. Which means I'm going to have to move the king either here or here. Which blocks in my queen. And the king here blocks in my rook. So I figured, you know what? The heck with it. Just castle. It's your best choice. And I look on the computer and it is the #1 move as well. Queen to f6 being the other one. He goes bishop h5. I was looking at the computer. Queen to e7, bishop e8, king to h8. I chose bishop e8. I wanted to get rid of his light squared bishop, being my light squares are so weak around my king. He moved the bishop off, and I went queen to f6. Now I'm sitting very well. Going to the computer here, I've got almost a 5-point advantage. That's almost a full rook. I'm up a piece and have a good position. But I'm notorious for screwing up games and I'm winning. I mean, look at this poor guy. He's got both of his queenside minor pieces undeveloped. This rook here, or bishop here, how many times has he moved? And he's back where he originally started. He went queen e2, and I went bishop g6. Let me go back here because I'm looking at the computer, and that was one of the top 3 moves. e5 was the computer's choice. I like bishop g6, maybe feel a little bit more secure about my king. It says after e5, queen to f3, queen to e6, bishop e3, and I stand very well there. I stand very well here either. I'm in up a piece. Knight to d2, rook a to e8, which was also the computer's choice. And this is a move here. I think maybe he just missed it, or sometimes you're losing like this and you get so disgusted you don't think properly. f3 was the computer's choice. He went pawn to f4. Of course, you see what happens. Every time you move a pawn, you leave a space behind. And he left the g3 square unguarded now, and I went knight. Queen moves, knight takes, queen takes. Now this is something I thought about for quite a while. And the computer actually gave me an exclamation point for it, which I'm kind of proud of. It's not listed as one of the top 3 moves of the computer. G takes f4, queen takes f4, or h5 are the choices. And I thought about all of those. And I looked at this one move that's going to win 3 pawns for a piece. Remember, I'm up the exchange already and a piece. Or I should say I'm a full rook up now because I was a piece up and then I won the exchange. So I'm going to get 3 pawns for this knight. And look at this poor king. It's exposed here. This pawn has no pawn to help it. My king and bishop, or queen and bishop tandem here. Queen checks, king to h1, a rook takes. Now I've got a rook and 3 pawns for a knight. And I'm sitting pretty well. He goes knight to f3 just to chase the queen. Now I also got an exclamation point for this move as well. So it kind of gave me a shot earlier. See if you can find what you would do here as black. And the move that I picked was rook takes f3. Queen takes f3. And I mean, look at his king. All around, look at all the dark squares. He is so weak around his king. Look at the dark squares. His bishop is stuck here. He won rook to f8. Or excuse me, I should say I won rook to f8. Now the computer says h5 might have been a little better, and I might have to agree. The bishop has to take, and then I go rook to f8. I mean, almost everything is winning. I saw I could chase the queen off with a tempo, so I took it. And he goes queen to a3. And the computer shows mate in 4, which I saw. It's a fairly easy mate to see. Remember, the dark squares around his king are awfully bad because his bishop is still stuck here. And now this rook is hemmed in. I go queen checks, king to h2. And I missed this one. I probably should have went queen to g1 check, or queen to e5 check. Saw mate in 3, but I chose the one that I saw, bishop e5. He blocks with a bishop, but I was a little disappointed for him to continue on, but I took, he moved the queen in the way, and queen to g1 mate. That's kind of a pretty mate. The queen takes away the escape square for the king. So I won this game. I was pretty happy. I was kind of tired, but I was pretty happy, and I shook his hand, and we put my pieces away and went upstairs to my room, and I felt a lot better. It's funny after you win how you get a little bit of energy surge and your mind is a little clear. So that was my round 1 game from the New York State Open. I always try to do, if I do a live video with me on the chessboard, I try to do a computer version with the interface like this, because you can show a lot of the variations. You really can't show that with a visual board when you're in person. So anyway, folks, that's my computer version of round 1. I hope you liked it. When I get time, I'll try to get my round 2 game in. Anyway, folks, I want you to remember, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.